Hey, hi guys, hello and welcome to my lecture 17. And guys, today I'm going to start a new series which would be totally based on Chef Tool, right? So, into this particular series, I am going to start my very first lecture, which would be in which we are going to discuss some basic stuff which are related to Chef, and then we'll be understanding what is the architecture of Chef, and after that, we will be going to the definition part. So first we need to understand what this chef is all about, because it will be very beneficial to all those who want to enter into the cloud computing kind of environment, who want to go into the DevOps. So it would really help them to some extent, which I believe. So we'll be quickly covering all the basic concepts, and this series I would like to be a little bit more practical and more hands-on rather than focusing on just the theory lecture stuff. So without wasting any of your time, guys, allow me to quickly navigate to the section. So let's get started. So guys, first let's have a clear-cut understanding of what chef is all about. So guys, this is a definition that I have copied it from a number of resources available on the internet. So this is one of the definitions which I liked. So Chef is an automation or a configuration management tool that provides a way to define infrastructure as a code. So it's just a line. I mean, those who do not know anything about Chef, who have never, used Docker, AWS, or any kind of configuration management tool, and they would simply see this like, I mean, it's just a line. But allow me, be patient with me. I'll make you understand each and every word that is being written over here. So Chef is an automation tool. So what do we first of all we need to understand what an automation tool is all about. I know those guys who are working into an IT organization, they simply know about automation, but those who are just have started learning for the very first day about Chef, I think they should also be able to understand the basic, very basic phenomena, right? So what is an automation tool, guys? Automation tool is a tool in which we write some piece of code, and that piece of code runs for a specified period of time or an interval of time, so that something may happen automatically, right? Let's say you have your Gmail application, and as a manager I have given you a task to verify that people are able to log in with 10 different username and passwords, right? Let's say I've given you a particular task. So in order to perform that, firstly I need to give you username and password of each and every 10 guys or 20 guys or 30 guys, and you would be doing it manually: username 1, password 1, username 2, password 2, right? So this may take 30 minutes of time in order to verify that all people are able to log into your Google account or your Gmail account. So in order to avoid this, because we are all human beings, it may happen that I might miss the 19th guy, or because I had a phone call and I just forgot and I started again from 20. So my test cases or my testing would fail in that particular scenario. So in order to avoid all these basic mistakes, automation is basically used. So what will happen that with the help of certain tools like Selenium is not a tool, it's just an API, but I would be using a like tool over here. So with the help of Selenium tool, we can automate our browsers, right? So I will write a piece of code in Java, Ruby, Python, C, and any of the language, and then that code would automatically invoke or would enter username and password 10 times, and believe me guys, it will happen very fast. Within 30 seconds you would be able to verify that 30 people have been able to log in or not. So instead of going to each and every user or asking your friend, guy, please log in, user 1, you also log in, user 3, you also try to log in, user 4, why are you not logging, please do it. Or rather than doing it everything manually on the behalf of them yourself. So this is a very time taking process, it is a tedious process. Manual intervention is normally are being getting eliminated by automation. So the people guys who are doing automation, they know, the people who are actually working at IT industry, they know this is a very basic phenomena which I'm talking about. So for those who do not know what automation tool is all about, what automation tool does, so this is the thing an automation tool can do. If you want to log into your, just a simple example, again I'm reiterating, if you want to log into your Gmail account with 20 or 30 different users, I know it will take at least 15 to 20, 25 minutes in order to verify everything is working fine. But with the help of automation tool like or APIs like Selenium, it can be done within 1, 2, or 3 minutes, right? Depending upon how you have configured your system, about your bandwidth, whatever. So it saves time, and also since it is automated, so it will never happen that, oh sir, I missed it, the 19th user, I missed it. So these kinds of irritating and idiotic scenarios won't be there, right? It will uh, start from user 1 to user 20, user 50, one by one, and whatever will happen, it will give you a result in an automated fashion that, these were users were able to log in, these users were not able to log in, and these were the users whose username and password were also incorrect. So automation tool provides you a very large amount of benefits in some cases, right? So Chef is also a kind of automation tool, and now it says it is a way to define infrastructure as a code. I mean, everywhere on the internet, if you go, you will see these three words: infrastructure as a code. So what do we mean by infrastructure as a code? I mean, I was totally, surprised to see that there were 10 number of different definitions available on the internet. So it's very, very simple, guys. For those who are just starting my series, it is nothing. You need to manage your infrastructure just by writing code. And now some people would be thinking that now how we are going to manage our infrastructure. So for that, I have a different example. I'll let you understand. I'll make you feel better once we go through that particular example, right? So all in all, currently as of now, what is Chef? Chef is just an automation tool or a configuration management tool that will help you to define some infrastructure by help of writing code. Like in my previous example, I wrote a code in Java and I was able to log in 20 times. Similarly, in Chef also, you are going to write a particular code and you are going to do something that will happen automatically. No humans are required, right? So now moving back to the second example, guys. Allow me to open that particular diagram which I have made, guys, uh, so that it becomes easier for you to understand what it is all about, what the hell I'm talking over here. Actually, I wanted to make these diagrams in front of everyone, but it really took a lot of time for me to create these diagrams. I'm not very good at it. Okay, so without wasting time, let's try to understand this particular scenario so that you are able to understand what Chef is all about, what the hell I'm talking about, right? So let's say, I know for people who are working in IT organization, they must be knowing there is a position in your organization known as system administrator, right? Or system admin, some call it, or some call it admin engineer, or go to the admin department. A number of names are there, right? So what happens? Let's say you are working in a multinational company, and what happens? There is a scenario that tomorrow 20 to 30 freshers would be joining your, I mean, joining your ODC or joining your organization or joining your flow. They would be hitting the floor, and they would be requiring 20 to 30 machines, right? So, so, so in order to make those systems available, it is not a very easy task. Let's say when I joined an organization, my system was available, and I thought it's very easy. They just gave me a system. But it's not like that, guys. A lot of softwares, a lot of patches have to be made depending upon the kind of project you are working. If you're working in a healthcare kind of environment, I'm sure it would be configured in a different manner, right? And if you're working into an oil and gas domain, some things may differ depending upon the companies or your organization compliance and each and everything, right? So there are n number of things which this person, system admin, had to do previously before this DevOps came into the this concept came. So let's say I am a system administrator and my manager has said in the admin department that guy, Abhinav, you need to run 50 softwares on each of these computer machines. 50 is that really? Even I am thinking it's very much. Let's say 20 software. My manager gave me a task that today when you come to your office, yeah, you need to install 20 software on each of these machines. So guys, don't think that these are just three computers. Just imagine there are 4 5 till 30, because 30 people would be joining. And let's suppose I'm working in a very very big organization, thousands of people are working, so 30 is very less, right? So 30 computers I have to configure, and within a particular day, and he has asked me to run 20 softwares on each of my machine. So let's say these are all Linux systems. So let's say, so what I have to do, guys, I need to make you understand the concept. That's why I know technical people are getting to understand very easily. They know what I'm talking about. But for those who have just started, about Chef and how it goes into the organization, for them I need to go a little bit deep. So this lecture may take some time. So please be patient. I'll wrap it up um, in a very easy manner, right? So let's say this is my Linux machine one. uh, 9 a.m. morning, I logged into my organization, and then I'm going to this computer one, and I have the list of softwares. Let's say I'm working on a Linux machine. So let's say, just an example, I need to first update it, right? First I need to update it, then I need to, install Git on it. Then let's say I need to install Docker on it as well. Then I need to install, uh, Apache server as well, because the guys would be working onto it. So let's say I need to install these X number of softwares. After that, let's say I also need to install npm as well. I need to, I mean, there can be n number of softwares in a Linux environment, right? So if I start doing it from computer 1, then I went to computer 2, then I went to computer 3, till now, I mean, 1 hour has passed, only 60 software have been deployed, uh, or have been installed, or packages. In Linux machine we call it packages, not softwares, kind of thing. So it has taken me a lot of time, and since I'm a human being, it may happen that I may tend to forget install npm. At the time I was installing Git onto a particular system, some my friend called me, let's say, hey guy, let's come outside of your organization, let's have a cup of tea. I forgot. So this machine does not have Git installed, right? And this machine may be having some extra software, because my mind got carried away. Let's say I'm on my computer 30. By this time it's almost 9 o'clock. At 9 o'clock I started, and it's almost 9 o'clock, and now there is some issue. I tend to forget a number of things, and I'm not able to configure. So this was the task, or this is the kind of task that a system admin may encounter, right? So this is a very very tedious kind of task, and it is very cumbersome to take care of each and everything. Make sure that exact 20 softwares are installed, they are up, they are running. And let's say my manager is uh, totally was in a totally different mindset. He's a different kind of creature. Next day he comes and says to me, hey Abhinav, I had a mistake, man. You do not need to configure Linux. Actually, you need to configure all the Windows machine. And here is a list of softwares. You need to configure MS Office. You need to configure Cisco NAC. You need to configure putty. He gave me a different set of softwares over there, and gave me a list of 20 softwares. Now again I have to do the same thing on the same machine. So are you guys able to understand what my pain is at this point of time? I mean, people would simply resign, right? Okay. So this is the issue, uh, which system admin kind of role or people used to face that, and this has now been overtaken by DevOps engineer. So now a DevOps engineer would be doing this particular task, as a result of which, guys, you must be knowing, the jobs have got decreased and have got abated a little bit for system admin role, because now DevOps role is emerging into the market, and that engineer would be able to do that, right? And how would that engineer would do that? Let's say for a Linux machine, the same set of queries which I wrote over here, we'll simply write a code over here, like write run. first this into this particular order, into this particular fashion, and after that it will he would simply use a chef architecture which I'm talking about, and all these configuration will be pushed parallelly or simultaneously or one by one onto these machines. My task is very easy. I'm very happy. And also, I'm a DevOps engineer. I'm getting more salary than a system admin, right? Because I've written the code over here. I've automated this entire piece of functionality. I'm building your infrastructure. So, guys, this is your infrastructure. What is an infrastructure? So, what is the basic definition of infrastructure? Infrastructure is nothing. It is just a combination of your hardware, your software, your networking devices, and let's say your data centers. So it is just a combination which is known as infrastructure. So this is why, let me get back to you, back to the definition. It was written over here. It means that you will be managing your infrastructure by writing code and avoiding manual human intervention, right? So coming back to my example, so if I write the code, I would not be requiring the system admin. This guy is kicked off. Now I would be installed over here. I would be writing the code. I would be using chef architecture, and I would be just doing whatever I you know said earlier. So this is what all about. This is the need of why you need to know some basic things about chef and how it's going to manage your infrastructure as a code. So it's not that you would be performing the role of a system admin. There are n number of things which I am going to discuss later on in my upcoming sessions. You would be deploying some applications. Your system would be interacting with the server in a different manner. So there are a number of things I would like to cover them later. I do not want anyone to get confused. So guys, I took a lot of time in order to make you understand. So this was the whole essence of going for automation or going for a chef kind of tool, because you know the pain point. This person just resigned the next day when manager told that you need to configure Windows system, and it was his mistake. Okay, and I spent almost 14 hours in my office. So it may happen, right? So guys, I hope now again back to the definition. Chef is an automation tool. What automation is all about, I told you earlier, and it provides a way to define infrastructure as a code. So you will be writing your code and you would be redefining or defining your infrastructure, right? Redefining basically means, like I said, from Linux to Windows machine. Okay, so this was all about the definition of chef and what it does, right? Now moving ahead, guys, there are two types of architecture. First, let me get you through the diagram, right? I do not want to confuse anyone. It should be very simple. So let's say there are whenever I'm talking about this chef, we do not I would be using node, right? I would be using this terminology node. Okay, because you can assume them like a server on a computer system or a virtual machine, whatever. Just for the sake of understanding, you can just assume them that these are virtual servers or some machines or a computer systems, right? So that it becomes easy for you to understand. Let's say there is a server over here, and I have written a code. Let's say, bring this code over here. I, as a DevOps engineer or an engineer, whatever the kind of engineer I may be, I have written something over here. I've written a code to automate, and I've automated something. How, I will tell you guys in the later lecture. So just stay tuned and be patient. Try to understand what I'm trying to say. I've written some code over here, and in this architecture, this server will push all these configurations to all these nodes, right? So it will push this into this node, it will push this configuration into this node, and this configuration into node 3, right? So this is known as push based architecture, in which your server itself is pushing all the configuration based upon your requirement, and over here you have a full control, right? You have full control, like at what point of time You wanna uh, send slash update your instances, sorry, not instances, update your systems slash node, whatever it may be, right? So just for the sake of understanding, I'm simplifying it. So into this kind of architecture, you have a full control, and you yourself push these configurations onto this system, right? But there is another kind of configuration which is known as a pull-based configuration. In pull-based configuration, these nodes, let me just reverse the direction. I don't know how it will happen again. Yeah, these nodes, they themselves will come and they will ask the server, hello server X or hello chef server, do you have anything updated for me? Right? And if the server says, yes, I do have something updated for you, these are the new things that have been created, so it will simply go over here. They will simply, the chef client would come. Sorry, I never wanted to use chef client right now. Let's say this computer would come itself, fetch this piece of information and will install it itself. So in our push based architecture, I was pushing each and everything, or let's say server was pushing each and everything. But in a pull based architecture, these nodes are requesting the server, hey, do you have anything updated for me? If yes, okay, now let me update myself again. So, if your computer systems start asking to the server for the latest update, I mean, your life would be very much easy, right? And this pull based architecture is basically what chefs is all about. So chef is a pull based, chef follows pull based architecture, and another tools like Ansible, I think they follow, not I think, they really follow push based architecture. So these are the two architectures that I discussed right now in front of you guys: push based and pull based. So our chef is a pull based, and Ansible would be your push based, right? So this is how this works. This chef is all about. So I told you what is the need of chef, how initially earlier it used to work, what chef would do now, and what was the actual definition of chef. It was just, you were able to build your infrastructure as a code by writing pieces of code. So in this example, I wrote a piece of code and I'm building my infrastructure. They are coming to me and they are, simply updating themselves. And so with the help of this, I can do this for n number of nodes. They can be 10, 20, 15, 30, 35, right? So this is the importance of Chef, and it is based on pull-based architecture. Please note it down if you guys are having or having any sort of confusion at this point of time. So till now, guys, I think I've made myself clear what Chef is all about, why it was required, what are the two architectures over here, and now I would be moving ahead to discuss the exact architecture of Chef. I know, guys, this is taking a little bit of time. Please be patient with me. But you need to know this is the now important part, because after that I would simply discuss the definition part or these terminologies. But I never wanted to tell you guys what is Chef Workstation. Let's say I've written place where we simply write our code. So you would say that I can write a code in my home itself. So it is my Chef Workstation. No, it's not like that. Uh, so please bear with me. Okay. So into this particular diagram, I'm going to explain you the entire architecture of Chef, how it works all about, right? So starting from the start, we have three entities involved over here. One is your Chef workstation, one is your Chef server, and there are a number of nodes that are attached to this server, right? What is your Chef workstation? It is nothing. It is a place where you would be writing some of your code. You would be installing this onto your Linux machine and you would be writing your code. Then you would be uploading that code to the Chef server, and then the further process goes on. I'll explain, right? So this is your Chef workstation. Also, let me tell you guys what we do. So this is a place where we simply write our code, right? After we write our code like that I told you earlier, like yum install, do this, do that, and do this thing, and a number of instructions that you are giving, you write it over here, and after that, that code is pushed onto your chef server, right? And after that, once it is on your chef server, I have told you that we follow in chef pull based architecture. So it means that your computers would be coming and asking chef server, hey, do you have updated code, do you have updated code, do you have updated code for me? And one by one they would be installing. Once, if they are connected, please try to understand each and every word what I'm trying to say. Okay. So in order to understand what this is all about, there are some terms being used. This is chef server. I hope you guys will be able to understand. Chef server is the location where we would be uploading our code, right? And these are the computer system that would be coming and making requests. Chef client would be installed on each and every node, on which who would be coming and asking for the latest code. So this is a chef client. It is a tool that runs on every chef node to pull code from the chef server. So this will help these computers to pull code from the chef server. So this is the reason why it has been installed. I'm just talking in a very, very layman language, guys, right? It gathers your current system configuration. So what your system configuration is all about, like when you do your, you normally see your configuration in Windows machine or Linux machine. So this will contain that piece of information, and it will also desired your download your desired system configuration. So my desired system configuration would be somewhat like this, and these nodes would be downloading them so as to make them update, which I discussed earlier. But in chef, since it is a very normal language, what is a chef? Chef is a person who cooks your food, right? So with that, in that regard, there are certain terminologies which I have used so as to make your life easy. Not which I have used. These are the terminologies of chef. So cookbook, it is a place where all recipes are kept. Blah blah blah. XYZ written. First, try to understand what it is all about. So just make sure that this is the place you would be writing your code. Okay. So there is a cookbook kind of a concept. So what is a cookbook, guys? Please try to understand. Cookbook is nothing. Uh, let's take a very old example. So, guys, when we were small, when we were young, whenever we used to buy a mixer grinder, I hope those who have been into that particular era, if you buy a mixer grinder, you would get a cookbook. So, in that particular cookbook, there would be recipes of how you prepare mutton curry. In the next page, how you prepare chicken curry. In the next page, how you prepare sambar idli. In the next page, how you prepare butter naan, and all kinds of stuff, and number of recipes over there, right? Pardon me. Okay. So that was a cookbook that we used to get with the mixer grinder. So cookbook is just a collection of recipes, right? Cookbook is a collection of recipes, which means if you let's say you have a book in your hand, let's say from Sanjeev Kapoor, and he has given you a book, and each and every page there is one recipe mentioned, how to make dal makhni, and another page how to make a mutton curry, how to make chicken curry, how to make dal and rice, rajma sambar, xyz, and number of dishes are over there, right? So this is what this blog is trying to explain you guys. There would be a cookbook, and there would be a combination of recipes. So place where all recipes are present is basically named as a cookbook. You can again visualize that example of a book. Let's say you have a book in your hand and it contains multiple recipes, so this is that kind of thing, right? But in chef, now getting back to terminology. So cookbook, it is a place where all recipes are kept, collection of recipes. And what is a recipe? Recipe, when we talk about in terms of chef, it is place where all codes are written. So how do you write a recipe? Let's say I've taken example of a sandwich recipe, smoothie recipe. How do you prepare a sandwich? I mean, this is the way I prepare normally. So you just take bread, you take butter, you add some cheese into it, you add some uh, mayonnaise kind of stuff, you mix them and you eat them. So this is a recipe how to create a sandwich, right? Again, let me copy it and let me paste it over here, right? So they can be a recipe in order to make you understand Ubuntu recipe. Let's say just for an example, whenever you configure your Ubuntu system, whenever you configure a Ubuntu system, you first write the very first line of code as you have told in my last lecture. When we configure EC2 instance, we update it, right? We update it. After that, what we do? Let's say we install Docker onto it, right? This is my recipe. I am writing up at some pieces of code over here, right? And this code is going to do some sort of automation, which I already mentioned in very detail a couple of minutes back, right? So bear with me. So combination of recipes or collection of recipes is a cookbook, and cookbook contains your recipe, and your recipe is a series of or lines of code or pieces of instruction or information, right? Which will automate some task. And what is a chef note? It is a place where you apply code. So this is your code, which I already told that that IT guy going and deploying code on each and every machine. So you can imagine this like that thing. So this is the place where we're going to deploy it. And what is a knife? It is a tool to establish connection, right? So once you have written your code onto your workstation, how you are going to transfer it to the chef server? There would be a command line interface like this is a git bash, so your command line interface somewhat looks like this. You do something, and you get connected to your Linux server and you upload something you do. So with the help of command line interface, let's get back to the definition. It is a command line tool that runs on workstation, so it is a command line kind of thing. I can show you, but I cannot show you right now because that's sorry, I won't be able to show that as of now. So that would is a tool. You install it, and you write some pieces of code, and that knife will help you to transfer your code from your workstation to your chef server. Let's say when we go to your workstation in your office machine, where you work, that is your workstation. You do some pieces of information, you write some code, and then you upload it, let's say onto the Git, or that kind of stuff you can imagine in order to understand it. So you write your piece of code, and that gets uploaded with the help of knife, right? And your chef server also makes a connection to each and every node with the help of knife, right? Right. So knife is nothing, it's a command line tool. I'll give you guys a lab, please do not worry whatever I'm saying. I'll show you how it is done. So with the help of knife, I'll be transferring my code from workstation to chef server. And with the help of chef server, if I want to establish a connection to one of my nodes, I will be making use of knife, right? And what I'll be transferring from here to here, I'll be transferring my cookbook. My cookbook contains recipes. My recipes are like this. It is very easy to understand in the common language, and these recipes would do something, right? So it's very easy architecture, very very easy. It has taken me a lot of time in order to make you guys understand. It's very very easy architecture in order to understand. Okay, coming to the chef client, it is a tool that runs on every chef node to pull code from server. So let's say this is a code present over here. This was my recipe, Ubuntu recipe. I can also write my window recipe over here. I can also write my CentOS recipe. I can also write my Linux recipe over here. I want Linux installed over here. I'll make use of Linux recipe. I'll want Ubuntu recipe. I mean, just depends what you want to eat, right? You want to eat uh, chicken curry, mutton curry. You go to that recipe page, do it, install it, right? It's very very simple. So your chef client would first, let's say something got updated. I have, with the help of command line tool, I have updated my recipe over here. It is over here right now, right? Now, what is the role of the chef client? Chef client first will check its internal node that do you have this particular uh, recipe that got uploaded right now. He will say, or it will say from the OHI will say that no, I do not have any recipe. This is the latest one. Kindly pull it. So your chef client will go over here and now pull it back to the from here to here to the node, and your node gets established. I mean, has the latest code over here, And there is one process also known as bootstrapping. I'll tell you later on how it is done, how everything is get performed. Just for the sake of easiness, I'm not going into that. Only try to understand something gets updated over here. I say that, I have uploaded sandwich recipe onto my kitchen. Now all the, the maid go and take it that recipe and build it for me. I want to eat. Simply, Ubuntu recipe is over here, Windows recipe is over here. Chef client will make sure, do you have that recipe? No. It will come over here and download it over here, in a very, very simple fashion. So this is all about, and this was all the architecture of Chef. So I hope you guys are able to little bit understand what I have been talking about since a couple of minutes. So this is the architecture of code uh, uh, of Chef, and this is the Chef supermarket. This is the place where you can get custom code. So what is your custom code? It's like your ready-made code kind of stuff, where you get pre-configured code. So that is available in the Chef market. Just like Docker has your Docker hub, you get all the things over there. Just like for human beings, we do have a Walmart. We get all the things from the Walmart. It's a one-stop shop. So similarly, you can imagine it like like that itself, right? So guys, this was all about the Chef. These were the basics of the Chef. What is workstation? How do you prepare a cookbook? How do you prepare a recipe? What is a Chef server? What Chef server does and performs? What is a Chef node? What is a knife? What is a client? What is OHI? And what is Chef market? Supermarket. So guys, I think I have been talking from a lot of time. I don't want to make this lecture very, very lengthy. It is a very easy lecture, nothing complicated into that. The complicated part I will explain later on when we do the lab, and my next lecture would be a lab. And guys, please stay tuned with me, because after this Chef series, I know people who want to enter into the DevOps kind of field, they would be requiring knowledge of cloud computing. So, what is cloud computing? What cloud computing is all about? How to use AWS? I would be covering each and everything in very, very detail, and I would be preparing my playlist for that. But first, allow me to finish Chef, because it is really important. After that, I will be covering that series up as well. So please be patient with me. Allow me to complete this Chef one first. And guys, our next sessions would be totally lab based. I would like to make mostly the practical ones, because theory is won't help you much into Chef, right? So, guys, just a recap of each and everything that what we did today. We understand the definition of tool, what this Chef is all about. What is an automation tool? It helps us to, automate your browser, or any kind of stuff like login 20 times. And with the help of this automation, we were able to define our infrastructure as a code, like I gave the example of the IT guy, or that system administration guy. So once you know what to do, that you will be getting that person's salary as well, if you have the knowledge of all these stuff, right? Just joking. Okay. So this was about chefs. These are the basic terminologies, and which I've already gone through. And we also discussed about the chef architecture, right? Workstation place we write our code, we create a cookbook, we write multiple recipes for Ubuntu machine, multiple recipes for Linux, for CentOS, for Windows, right? And we simply deploy it with the help of knife, and then with the help of knife we make connection with the server. And once that connection is established, and if the code is updated over here, the Chef client will see it is over here or not with the help of OI. If it is not over there, it will come and pick it up and install it. Next time, if I put over here the recipe of Windows machine, it will not pick the Ubuntu one, it will only pick the Windows one, the latest one, the thing that got changed. You know, so again and again it won't be doing the same thing. This is a very important point I should have told you guys earlier. So just make sure you just make a note of it, right? So guys, thank you, and thank you for being patient. This is a long lecture, and again, thanks a lot for being patient with me. I hope you guys would have liked the lecture. Thank you.